Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus with Game 1 analysis of the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals. Well, the finals are finally here. I could not be more excited as last night the Florida Panthers just took it to the Edmonton Oilers 3-0. But did they really just take it to them? There's some pretty good analysis that is about to come up from your hockey Jesus. Hey, before I get started, by the way, did you see the new pennant I put up here for you guys for the Florida Panthers? That's right, I got a new pennant. There's no way that old pennant that was up there was going to make it through another series. The Stanley Cup Finals, you got to show the colors for the Florida Panthers. And boy, were those colors really flying last night. Let's just get to the analysis. Absolutely amazing start for the Florida Panthers. Really, in their only great opportunity of the night, about 4 minutes into the game, 3 minutes and 59 seconds to be exact. Carter Verhaeghe just absolutely buries a sweet dish from Sasha Barkov. My goodness, the way that play developed. Let me tell you. Let's just break down this goal for a second. McDavid's out there, right, and he just unexplainably just didn't get the puck from Bob Nugent Hopkins on the forecheck, right? And I just could not believe the speed of Barkov coming up the ice. I mean, McDavid, I don't know if he was trying to get back or taking his time getting back, but he couldn't chase down Barkov. I'm actually very much impressed with Barkov's speed. Dishes it over to the sidewall, who then gives it back to Barkov. That was Reinhardt on the sidewall. And just the sweet dish over Verhage. Look, Hyman was way too far into the offensive zone on that play. He couldn't get back. Verhage was already at the red line, honestly, by the time Hyman realized he had to go and chase him down. And he couldn't chase him down. There was no way he was going to chase him down. And he buries it. It was just a really nice finish. I'm just I'm puzzled a little bit about Florida's celebration. They don't look like they're really celebrating that hard. It's like Paul Maurice has got him like, don't get excited. You can party all you want once you lift that cup. By the way, how about the Stanley Cup being out on the ice right before game one? Woo, man, I don't know. Looking at that Stanley Cup and thinking all we got to do is 4 games and we get to run that thing around the rink a couple times. That had to give some of those players a little bit of goosebumps. I know it did me just seeing it out there, just thinking about what was going through those players' minds, knowing that they want to lift that puck. But Verhage did buries the goal. And it wasn't until the second period and Erod gets another second goal. Let's analyze that one just briefly. It was all Sam Bennett. He just dumps and chases it. I don't know what Cody Ceci and Darnell Nurse are thinking. I mean, Ceci kind of just lollygags his way back. Bennett just puts it right on Erod's stick. Nurse wasn't even paying attention. I mean, those guys got to get their heads out of their butt. They're playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they can't even see that puck coming. Erod with a great bury, and it's 2-0. And let's face it, I mean, if there was a dominant period, absolutely Florida in the third period. Just there was only really one good opportunity for Edmonton in that third period. Other than that, the empty netter with 5 seconds left, that was just a gimme. Barkov gets another assist. He gets 2 points. I thought that is exactly how they needed to play. We're going to get to Bob in a second. I'm going to break down the 2, 4, 5 really good opportunities that Edmonton have. And Bob's save on those 5 good opportunities absolutely saved the game for Florida. And we're going to break down why those happened and how Florida actually got better in a second. But let's get through the rest of the stats. Edmonton outshot Florida Panthers 32-18. It was 12-4 in the first period. And obviously, clearly, Edmonton's best period was their first period. So was Bob's, by the way. 25-12 Edmonton by the end of the second period, and 32-18. Only 7-6 advantage for Edmonton in that third period. 7 shots on goal in the third period. Great job by Florida to pull it down. Edmonton 0 for 3 on the power play. Florida 0 for 2 on the power play, but only really had 1 shot. Their power play didn't look great, but honestly, I told you, Edmonton's penalty kill is really, really good. I thought Edmonton's power play looked okay. One of the great opportunities we'll talk about in a second was on the power play. 6 shots on the power play. Not terrible. I mean, but they got to get a goal. They got to get a goal if they're going to get only 3 power plays. Florida really wanted to come out to hit. Hey, I told you, girth, right? Girth happened with the Florida Panthers. 57-32. They out hit Edmonton. Edmonton's not really a big hitting team. That's always probably going to be an advantage for Florida when it comes down to it. Let's break down the shots a little bit. McDavid had 6 total shots, 4 in the third period, only 1 in the first and 1 in the second. One in the second period came on a power play. Hyman was suspiciously quiet. 3 shots, 1 in each period. But his golden opportunity, we're going to get to this, was right at the beginning of the game, 20 seconds in. We're going to get to that in a second. Just give me a second to get through the rest of these statistics. Bouchard, no shots on goal in the third period. Wow, that was surprising. When I looked at those stats, I was like, really? Yeah. Florida does a really good job of getting into the zone and not getting into the shot zone and not allowing those shots to come from the point. Really important for Florida to maintain that. Draisaitl, no shots on goal in the third period. He had a really nice pass to McDavid, which we'll also break down. But hey, 4 shots on goal. He had 3 in the first period. I thought that, Draisaitl's first period was his best. Let's talk a little bit about the matchups now that the teams have played each other. Looks like Ekblad and Forsling are going to go against McDavid. That seems to be Maurice's line once he's out there. Clearly, Barkov's going to try and be out there too when that happens. And it looks like they're going to put Montour and Mikkola against Draisaitl. I didn't really notice Draisaitl much, but honestly, I didn't notice Montour or Mikkola too much either. But they seem to do an okay job against him. When McDavid and Draisaitl on their ice together, because they do play together occasionally, Ekblad and Forsling really try and be out there. Let's talk about the opportunities that Edmonton had to take this game over. 20 seconds into the game, right? Bob tries to shoot it out. McDavid flicks the puck, stops it, goes right to Hyman, right in front of Bob. 20 seconds into the game, and Bob makes a great stop. That could have easily have changed the complexion of this game. I told you that I think that Florida needed to come out and win this game to get some moxie going, to really feel good about themselves, to make Edmonton second guess that they really belong there. I think both teams certainly belong there, but when Florida only has won 1 game in the last 2 Stanley Cup Finals they've been in, to win this game, I think gives them a huge confidence boost. But that would have changed the complexion of the game, in my opinion. But it didn't go in. Bob was ready. Hey, Bob made the mistake, and he he had to bail himself out. It was weird how he kind of went back after that happened, and Hyman didn't really try and shoot it off of him or anything. There were a couple defensemen there. I thought maybe they could have gotten a stick or a puck or, just some dumb puck luck out of it, but Hyman decided not to shoot it. But that was a golden opportunity. Also, in the first period, let's talk about it. 14-10 left in the first period. This is where I think in the first period that Edmonton has done a really good job. They had a 2-line pass opportunity on 3 different opportunities in the first period, right? And a 2-line pass is basically when you're passing it out of your offensive zone and you're almost giving it to the offensive guy, either like near the offensive zone or in the offensive zone. That happened in the first period. Look, Bouchard passed it right to McDavid, and McDavid just flies past Ekblad, and he just couldn't get it. That was at the 14-10 mark in the first period. That is what I thought we would see more of. And that was a great pass by Bouchard. And then, of course, McDavid just didn't finish. And I think it was because Bob was on his game. Again, 5:44 left in the period, right? Broberg, of all people, gets it to Janmark, and he tips it over the Henrique. Coming in all alone. I mean, that 2-line pass really opened up the game for Edmonton in the first period. And what happened? I actually think Henrique got slashed. And they didn't call a penalty. I thought that should have been a penalty. Now, I don't think it should have been a penalty shot. But hey, and that was on Montour and Mikkola, by the way. Mikkola was nowhere to be found anywhere. I forget who was back. It was the fourth line defenseman, number 82. Sorry, I forget his name. And then once again, about a minute and a half later, Draisaitl got the pass to Ryan Nugent Hopkins, right to him, unexplainably gets right past Kulikov and Ekman Larkson, and they just can't finish. Bob made three brilliant saves there in the first period. I thought once again there was a penalty on that second one, but that's where Bob really got into the groove. He's like, you're not getting past me. And those were three really good opportunities. And by the way, after those three opportunities where you had that two-line pass on every single opportunity to have a really good shot at the goal, Florida didn't do it at all. They did some sort of defensive change, some sort of defensive scheme to stop that two-line pass, and it really helped because in the second period, um, only on the power play did Edmonton really get a good opportunity, and that's when Draisaitl and McDavid were kind of playing give and go on the right hand wall, and Draisaitl made a point. Bob made a point blank save right on Draisaitl, and I don't know what happened if Ryan Nugent Hopkins just missed the net. I think he missed the net. I don't think he was given an opportunity, but Bob went flying. Stick went this way, arm went this way. It didn't look like it looked like Ryan Nugent Hopkins missed the net on that rebound opportunity, but there was really no good opportunity except for 15:30 left. Hyman took the puck away from Barkov. He gave it to Draisaitl, who got it over to McDavid. Real quick, bing, bang, boom, and Bob was there with the save again. That was with about 5 minutes into the third period at the 15:30 mark in the third period. I thought those were the best opportunities, but when Bob is on, that's going to be a problem for Edmonton. But I tell you what, Bob was definitely on those opportunities. I can't even speak to Florida's really good opportunities where Skinner made a nice save or something was done to thwart a good opportunity from Florida because honestly, they didn't really have any. Even that second goal wasn't a great opportunity. I mean, only because the pass got through. But I can't really fault Skinner for that second goal. It was right in the slot and on a one timer from Bennett. I think Bennett played okay. Once again, look, or Skinner played okay. Skinner had an 882 save percentage. That's what you expect from him. You don't expect Bob to not let a goal in 32 shots, but he didn't, and that was really kind of the reason that Florida is taking a 1-0 lead in this series. Let's talk a little bit about some tidbits that I noticed during the game. I told you that I thought the announcing crew that I wanted to be out there with Edzo. Well, I guess ESPN is getting all the games, so that means we're stuck with Ray Ferraro and Emily Kaplan. People, I don't know if I can make it through 3 more games to 6 more games with this crew. But either I'm going to have to find an alternative stream. Maybe I'll find some Edmonton Oilers stream that I can listen to, or maybe even a Florida stream that I can listen to because, oh my, I don't like them very much at all. After during the game, we saw Florida's version of the flashing girl from Edmonton. That's right. It's an 8-year-old kid who decides not to wear a shirt and he's behind the Edmonton bench during the game. You saw him. He's the kid that goes like this, did it in the Rangers series. I don't know if that's a good look for you, Florida. I don't like the rats that you throw out. I don't like this tradition of an 8-year-old shirtless kid behind the bench. I think you could do better than that, Florida. Let's try and come up with something a little bit better. What else? Oh, what McDavid said at the end of the game causes me to pause just a little bit. He said there's lots to like about their game. Look, McDavid, Connor, McJesus, you're the best player in the league. When you get an opportunity, bury it, okay? Don't think of it as we had better opportunities than them. Think of them as a lost opportunity that you need to get better at. You need to either get that two-line pass back somehow, or you need to find a better way to keep at it. You got to get a gritty goal against these Florida Panthers. And, maybe Adam Henrique's the guy who's got to do it. Maybe Cody Cece or Darnell Nurse are going to get a fluky shot that goes in off of somebody. That's what wins championships. It's not always how pretty it looks when it goes in, honestly. McDavid, nothing to like about that first game. You should have won it and you lost it. Now you've got to get back to what you got. Here's the other thing. Ask Tampa Bay Lightning, who said, "Hey, we're playing great. We just got to get to our game." They're out. You don't want to be like Tampa Bay. You don't want to be out. You want to be raising that cup. So you got to think a little bit better than there's lots to like. I know it's your first Stanley Cup in ever, and Edmonton's first Stanley Cup in a very long time. But there was nothing to like about that game if you're an Edmonton Oiler. Do not become complacent. You want to win the next game. In fact, dare I say, you have to win the next game because look, that's right. I said, look, that means think about what Gretzky did in his first year of the Stanley Cup. 1983, they got shut out. And you know how many games they won in that series? They won 0. That's right. Wayne Gretzky in his first Stanley Cup final won 0 games. Now, I know Edmonton fans, you know that. But if I'm going to make hockey disciples out of you people, everybody out there needs to know it. So that's what it means. That means if you're going to become complacent, you're going to become relegated to the history. And it's not a bad thing to say, hey, I've followed Wayne Gretzky in losing the first 4 games that I played in the Stanley Cup Finals, but that would mean you have to go and win 4 more. So, McDavid, you've got a little bit more age on you than Gretz did when he played in his first one. So, I'm not so sure that that's the kind of path I would want to take. So, Monday night, be back. I will be here to give your analysis probably Tuesday, maybe Monday night, but most likely it will be on Tuesday. And we'll see if the Edmonton Oilers, you guys can tie the series up. I'm rooting for you, but honestly, I'm rooting for good hockey, and I am just thrilled with what I saw last night. Edmonton find a way to get that 2-line pass back. Florida, if you got Bob, you got the great equalizer. Nothing better than a great goalie. So I'll see you after game 2. Let's go, hockey. Let's go.